Hi, my name is Abhilash.
Hi, I'm Devanathan.
Together, we built a virtual online store for a fashion retailer as part of a final project for the algorithmic digital marketing course here at Northeastern.
I'll just give you a little insight on why we're doing this. As we all know, marketing is all about getting your product noticed and tapping into the need that exists in people, which can either be direct or latent. One industry where it's really hard to articulate your needs is the fashion industry, where it's heavily linked to emotion. You either love it or you don't, and capturing user preference is paramount to keep them engaged. We have taken upon us to showcase the usefulness and application of search, ranking, and recommendation in the context of a women's fashion brand.
Okay, so to give you a little bit more context about the entire tool, let's just dive into the architectural diagram here. Right? So we built this tool primarily with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we've used Flask as our backend. And we also connected with a whole bunch of connectors out there, which includes the AWS Postgres server. We have the Elasticsearch, and we also created endpoints to a TensorFlow model that we connect to get visual search. So there are a lot of moving parts in this thing, and we'll hopefully unravel all of this. But to give you more context about the process that we went through, we first so this data that we pulled is about fashion and especially women's fashion data and a bunch of images with information about what the product's name is, what particular category they belong to, what particular subcategory they belong to, right? And this is the only information we sort of had. And we had to do extensive data processing to read out things that were necessary and which didn't really make sense, right? So before we jump into all of this, let's just log in.
So over here, we provided this login interface because we give this specialized recommendation, which is one of our features, and for that we had to isolate the user so we could give them we could track them and then give them personalized information. So now that we are in, I'll just go over all the features that we have in our website. The first one is the text-based search, where we use only text information to match the user with products. The second one is the visual search, where we leverage the visual features uploaded by the user to recommend similar images close to the image that you uploaded. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, the recommendations, which tracks the user's activity in the website, and based on products that he or she may like, we build a model and give out recommendations for that particular user.
Okay, so let's dive into the first part, which is the text-based similarity. So here we have the browse option where you presented with a search bar, and we could type in any kind of text information we want. And let's say I'm interested in buying some kind of polka clothes, right? So the polka pattern seems to be represented heavily in all of these search results that are coming back. Um, so our relevance score is going to be really high for the search term that we just provided, right? So just to give you a little bit more variety, let's try a different search term. Let's try the denim, and for now, let's pick one of those auto-populated things from our catalog, and you'll see that there's an exact match of a denim shirt, but there are also a bunch of other denim-related products. So this is primarily working off of the text information, and what we've done here is that if it contains more than one word, what we do is chunk it up into one word per word, and we check it against the Elasticsearch fields where we collected information about the product and the category and the subcategory. All of this information is then sort of weighted with the appropriate weights and then presented as a blended score. So the final score is what decides how high up in the search results your particular product sort of lands, right?
So the next feature we're going into is the image search, This is if the user sometimes doesn't know what to search for. Well, we have another option where the person can search through an image. Just simply upload the image, and then what happens is the image is being vectorized using a tensor model at the back end, and then it checks, this vector is being checked with all the other vectors that we have in our catalog, and then it does a similarity score, and then it ranks based on the similarity score, and then the topmost products are being returned back to the user. So you can see all the products that have been recommended for the image that has been uploaded, and then we also see the similarity score on top of each image.
Okay, let's move on to the last bit of the tool, which is the recommendation part. So, because we're a up and coming product, what we're struggling with is a lack of users, right? So, this is the prototypical problem that people face: is recommendations often have some cold start problems. One of the ways to get around it is to base it heavily on your content side of it. So that's what we've done with the other bits, where we leverage the text information as well as the visual information that existed. But just to gamify the process and collect user information in a more smoothened way, we sort of present this interface to the user where they can go through our catalog and rate the products that are out there. And what this does is, even for seasoned users of our tool, uh, if you don't want to get bored and bogged down by the personalizations that you're getting, and maybe you feel like there is something out there, you might try to hit the random button and see what kind of catalogs, what kind of products exist out there in the catalog. And what you can also do is sort of visit the particular products page. And if you like this particular product, you might also be presented with other recommendations that are much closer to this particular product, right? So if you think that, okay, these are this is a nice one, and you go further down the rabbit hole and you see that there are a whole bunch of images that pop up which are recommendations for this particular product. So these recommendations are populated with the help of things we talked about earlier, which are the text information from the Elasticsearch, where we chunk it up and blend it from all of these individual fields out there. The other thing is build a TF-IDF model on top of the product information, and get relevant scores based off of that. The other thing is, of course, we have the visual information. We could try different permutations and combinations between these relevant scores that we get, and we sort of have a blended score based on what we think is more relevant. Right? So these scores really are like a scaled down version based on the blendedness. So we're still trying to figure out, and that is one of the challenges that we face, is that what scale is more useful or relevant, right? So we presented with a bunch of results for any kind of image that exists in our catalog, and you can go ahead and do other activities or do any kind of purchases. So I hope you sort of enjoyed this whole presentation that we did out for you. If you have any questions, we'll open up and answer.
And also, to be on the safer side, we'll just log out. Thank you.